This is SoundOff, Louisiana's premier television sports show. Coming to you from Sportsbook at L'Auberge Lake Charles. Here are the guys, Rick, Scooter, and Kevin.
Good evening. So glad to have you back with us. Another feisty turn of events here at SoundOff. Coming to you from the Sportsbook at L'Auberge, by the way. Tail end of Super Bowl week. Get ready. Our game predictions are coming up. We'll also kind of dissect the game from a coaching standpoint. Reed, Shanahan, Spags versus Wilkes, yada, yada, yada.
Taylor
more
Swift.
McNeese basketball. We'll get into the Will Wade McNeese record-setting contract.
Oh, wow.
They upped the ante. They got more money on the table to him.
You knew it was going to have to happen.
And, of course, a big game Saturday against Corpus Christi and the like. Cowboy baseball preview coming up later on in the show with Justin Hill from the McNeese State Cowboys and all that.
Coach Hill on.
Huge show. Huge. Always got to watch every show here.
We do.
All right?
It's always
every
something
show.
new.
All right, let's get things
Always.
rolling with Super Bowl 58. It's going to be seen right here on CBS Lake Charles. Pregame usually starts at about 1.
Yeah. Early.
Not in the morning, in the afternoon, and then kickoff about 5:35 from Las Vegas. All right, game predictions coming up. So get ready for that. I know where you two guys are leaning. Obviously, the colors.
You've got to understand what's getting ready to happen here, guys. Come on now.
The coaches. All right, Andy Reid. Earlier in the week, you called him a genius. He is an offensive savant.
He is. He is.
Kyle Shanahan's, pretty damn good too.
Yeah.
All right, Reid. 5 Super Bowls. Remember, lost at Philly.
Yeah.
Won a Super Bowl as an assistant at a Super Bowl I covered way back in New Orleans with the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, wow.
That would be 31. I'm aging myself.
Oh, wow.
So he's been there 5 times.
Yeah.
This will be his 4th, I guess 6th time. This will be his 4th with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Right? They won 2, lost 1, now he's here.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan. Remember, he lost that Super Bowl to the Chiefs. Remember the Jimmy Garoppolo
He did.
long pass that if the guy catches it, they win?
They win.
But he doesn't catch it. And, of course, everybody remembers the 28-3 lead when he was the offensive coordinator for Atlanta and Tom Brady came back.
That was him.
That was him.
That was him, yeah.
Dan Quinn was the coach.
was him.
And Dan Quinn, fired.
Yeah.
It might have been 2 years later. But anyway.
I still think that's Saints fans' all-time favorite Super Bowl, even more than the one they won.
Maybe 1 to 1A.
Yeah.
28-3. But that's
That
not
was
on. That's not on
That was
Shanahan.
unbelievable. No, not
That's
at all.
on Dan Quinn and his defense.
Yeah.
28-3 lead against Tom Brady, the biggest deficit in Super Bowl history. All right, so we've laid out the table. 2 great offensive-minded coaches. Who do you give an edge to here?
Edge, I think it's quite evident.
Again.
I think it's quite evident.
I keep asking these questions. You keep saying it's the obvious answer.
It is.
Which I'm not so sure.
I
But
think this game will be close the first half, and the Chiefs busted open in the second half.
I give the edge all the way to Kansas City. Guys, they've been in this moment. They
moment,
understand
that's a good point.
They understand it. They know you're not going to rattle them. They could be down in the 4th quarter. You're not going to rattle them. It's not going to make a difference.
Andy Reid's offense this year, they led the league. His receivers led the league in drop passes. They struggled. Guys, they were scoring like
I think that's
15,
I
17,
think that's
18
behind
Yeah.
them.
You think? You think what? You can flip a switch in the
Yeah.
NFL and
Well,
all of a sudden?
I mean,
No.
I think the
But I know what Scooter's
postseason,
saying, though.
I don't remember a lot of drop passes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Rashid
It's-
Rice, he came, the young Rice receiver started making
Yeah.
plays. And of course, Kelsey,
Look,
Taylor Swift kind of cheering him on.
Yeah, I mean,
thing is-
to me, the Taylor Swift factor is the key.
viewership.
The old
it's gonna-
curmudgeon
it's gonna idiot.
comes
The
through
main-
with
the
this
main
Taylor
one, the main
Swift
one, the main one.
storyline.
But I mean, she's added viewerships that this game
Well,
would not have
she's
had.
got-
To be honest with you.
The NFL leads in TV
But-
ratings at
but
every
understand what I'm
turn.
saying.
It's not Taylor
People
Swift.
I don't think
people
they
that-
need Taylor Swift
No.
to get ratings.
She's up to ante. She's made viewership grow. Commissioner
From
said
maybe
that
a
himself.
certain demographic.
Commissioner said that himself.
Young girls like 12 to
yes,
16.
That would not have watched this game.
I don't have a problem with
You
her
think
being.
they're going to watch it just to
No,
get
they-
a few glimpses
Yeah.
of
They're
Taylor Swift?
going to watch Taylor. They're
I
gonna
don't have a
watch the
problem
game,
with the
Scooter.
cutaway shots with
No,
Taylor
I don't
Swift.
either.
It's
But
not
I
that
they know
bad.
what they're doing, Rick.
I mean,
They know what they're doing.
What is the harm?
No.
I mean, all these
People
gray
just say it's too much
beards
coverage.
getting
They say
all
just too much
upset.
coverage.
It's
No,
not football.
it's
no,
not her
who
fault.
cares?
No.
Yeah, and it's not her fault.
No,
She's a
it's
mega
not.
star
All right.
too, guys.
She's
Come on.
flying in all the way from Japan.
Yeah, man, she's supporting her man. Look, the 49er offense, they remember they lost 3 in a row. Brock Purdy kind of hit hit a little wall. A lot of turnovers and stuff. But then again, you talk about the Chiefs turning it around, the 49ers offense turned it around.
When Taylor Swift plays in Japan.
Yeah, you're back on the Taylor Swift.
Does she sing in Japanese?
No. Good question, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think so,
How many of those people?
They understand English. A lot of them understand English, I'm pretty sure.
So traveled the world.
Yes, a lot of them understand English, though.
People understand a lot of English.
But
Come on.
everybody.
Yeah, well, I think,
I mean, would you want to go to a Beatles concert back in the day and have them singing in Portuguese?
I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, guys. I gotta get back on track. Let's talk
you hate it when I get you off track.
You do.
Look, Spagnuolo, remember he was on the Saints staff with Sean Payton years ago.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for decades.
He knows how to attack people, Rick.
He's great with the Giants. Now he's great with the Chiefs. Steve Wilkes, recency bias.
Look, let me tell you.
I mean, the 49er defense was gashed in the playoffs with the run game.
Rick,
gashed.
Let me tell you, what Spagnuolo does well is that his personnel dictates what he does. And if people understand that, that's what you do. You play to your personnel.
His front seven's very
That's
good.
it. Man, Rick, can't nobody match them, Rick. And I'm telling you, Purdy's going to be flustered, man, because they're going to come at him. They're going to come at him with the kitchen sink, Rick. They're going to come at this kid, Rick.
But again, I think Shanahan will have an answer, and Purdy can get the ball away pretty quickly.
What did Purdy do early on in the last game when you flustered him? He made mistakes. He threw an interception. And he's got to realize, Rick, that's going to be the entire game.
Yeah.
That's the entire game.
Spagnuolo versus Wilkes. Again, you need to move closer to him.
Come on, man. Spagnuolo is. Come on, Rick. Why you keep asking these questions when you know the answer?
You
know the answer.
May I remind my two knuckleheads over here that the Vegas odd makers.
You know the answer.
49ers are favored by 2, by the way. Just want to throw
more
on the Super Bowl when we come back. All right, don't miss any of the great food and drinks at the bar, the Max Bar and Grill in Westlake. Delicious steaks and burgers off the grill, seafood and pasta, of course. And they'll have Super Bowl Sunday, wall-to-wall sports. They'll have it on the big screen. Don't forget weekend brunches. They start at 10 o'clock. Or you can wind down a tough day or a week at the bar with cold cocktails and the like. It's all at the Max Bar and Grill.
If it's a story worth telling, it starts with Getaways specializing in me time. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Escapes to soak the day away. And rounds on a course designed by Tom Fazio. Start a story all your own at L'Auberge Lake Charles.
We're the attorneys Southwest Louisiana has known and trusted for decades. We fought relentlessly for our clients and won. We are proud to announce a new name based on our legacy of success. We are Lundy Law. The name may be new, but our team's commitment to pursuing justice for our clients has never been stronger. From personal injury and maritime cases to insurance claims, mass tort, and civil litigation, you can count on the experienced attorneys at Lundy Law.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
We're back at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge, Super Bowl 58. Big party here at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge. Great food, great drinks, great service, sports wagering. Everything's going to be here, and of course the big screens everywhere. But get here early. It's going to be a little nutty. SoundOff
We're here early.
Huh? We're here early. Doing our show production early. SoundOff presented by Lundy Law in Lake Charles. Also presented to you by Miller Lite. Only 1 calorie more than Michelob Ultra at 96, but great taste. And of course, brought to you by L'Auberge Casino Resort. All right, Clint Kubiak.
Yes.
Clint Kubiak is the Saints' new offensive coordinator. It ties into Super Bowl 58 because he's an offensive assistant. He's not the OC,
right?
But he's an offensive assistant under Kyle Shanahan for the last few years. So when you watch the game, Saints fans, Look at that 49er offense, because he's going to bring that style to New Orleans.
You think?
Yeah, I think, because it's been successful.
He said if they bring him there, that's what they're going to run.
The routes and how they run and how they use the running game. So Clint Kubiak, who is the oldest son of Gary Kubiak,
Gary,
he was a head coach with the Texans for many years. And the Broncos, was he not?
Yeah, yes, he was.
He was a Denver Bronco quarterback with you, right?
Didn't he
Way
go
back
to a
in the
Super
day.
Bowl one year? If I'm not mistaken, he went to a Super Bowl one year.
He might have.
Yeah.
Well, you're stumping me on that. He might have.
I'm thinking he did.
All right, so.
And we've actually had Gary in-house before, but we haven't had him on the show.
Had him on the show.
It was like right around the corner.
Right after he was in the Super Bowl.
That's what I was talking about, Rick.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
I blame that on you.
Oh,
all
right. Okay.
All right. Let's get back to Super Bowl 58. All right, the line is right now at midweek, 2 points favoring the 49ers. The over and under about 47.
Change, guys, that's going to change.
All right.
How can the 49ers be favored?
I don't know, Scooter. I'm blown away. Really, I'm blown away.
There's the smart guys in Vegas.
People in Vegas don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, you tell them that. Hey, look. Remember last year's Super Bowl against the Eagles? What was the turning point in the game? A 65-yard punt return by Lavarius Toney. Remember this knucklehead when he was 1 foot over the line, that whole thing? A special teams play. Remember earlier in the week you said close game and then a couple of big plays. Special teams.
But Hurst didn't have a good game either, though. So that.
Well, he had that one fumble, but I'm just saying, don't forget about special teams in the Super Bowl.
I just think when you bring it up, Rick, and you talk about the 49ers versus Kansas City, I mean, you got to give the edge to Kansas City. You just have to.
Vegas says 2 points 49ers.
Vegas could be wrong, too. I'm thinking.
Not often.
That defense will be the determining. Y'all heard me say it right here on SoundOff. That defense will be the determining
by Kansas City.
By Kansas City.
With the over and under, Scooter, obviously it's a lot of respect for both defenses.
No, that's no doubt.
Think about that.
There's no doubt for that.
You've got Mahomes.
Yeah.
The GOAT in waiting.
Yes.
And they still say the over and under is 47. And Brock Purdy, who can light it up too with all his offensive weapons.
Oh, in our area, don't want to get off track here, but
please get off track.
Area, the Saints are long out of it. I don't know that there's a big rooting interest around here for either team. So how do you pick who you want to root for? I mean,
probably a lot are going to go, hey, we're tired of Kansas City winning. I don't know.
Normally in this situation, I find it I'm more comfortable rooting against a team.
You know what I've heard from players as to how, like what Scooter said, when there's no interest in either team, who do you vote? I mean, who do you cheer for? People say they look at the last game played by each team to determine how they will root for what team. It makes sense.
I don't know about
it makes
that.
sense, but I mean, it makes
before
sense
the Super Bowl. I think both teams are healthy. Before we shift gears, if critical player, you keep talking about the defenses I got, Christian McCaffrey.
No kidding.
If he busts loose for 100-plus yards, 50, 60 through the air catching the ball, he's the best in the league. He's the best in the league.
Can
I ask you a question, Rick?
Can
I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. And he's healthy.
How many yards did
and he's healthy.
One of the best running backs, I want to say, that was with the Ravens, he had how many yards rushing?
Not many.
Okay.
But again, you keep going back to the Ravens game.
That's what's going to determine
offensive
it.
game plan was ridiculously
That's what's
stupid.
going to determine it.
They only ran the ball to the running back 7 times.
Look.
This is Christian McCaffrey.
The reason why they only ran it 7 times was because he could not run it.
They panicked. Why are we talking about the AFC Championship game? All right, time for the game predictions.
Anyway, game prediction.
Who's going to win and give me at least a margin? Mr. Man in red and black.
Kansas City. I'm saying 28-17.
Wow.
Kansas City.
I'm going to say Kansas City by 16.
16?
Yes.
Yeah, I went
Get
by
rich.
I went by 10.
16.
I went by 10. Okay, I did 10. Scooter did 16.
All right,
I did 10.
You can clearly say.
You know you're going to be wrong. You know you can't change right now. We're on TV. You know you can't change.
Clearly, I've been kind of building up the 49ers. Clearly, through this all week. I can't bet against Mahomes. I'm sorry. 27-26 Kansas City.
I knew it, Scooter.
I'm sorry.
I knew
I
it,
love
Scooter.
Brock Purdy.
I knew it, Scooter. I knew he was going to change, Scooter. I knew you can't.
The GOAT in waiting.
Mahomes is going to find a way to win this game.
We'll see. All right, let's shift to basketball. All right, the record contract given to Will Wade earlier in the week, $700,000 a year, far exceeds anything that they've ever paid anybody
in the Southern Conference.
Anybody. You know, a new 5-year deal. That really doesn't matter. 1.25 buyout after this year. $1 million buyout.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier. It had to happen. We talked about it on the show. It was going to happen before the end of this season because they want to lock him in.
Can we say
as best
this?
they can.
Well, let's be clear. Realistically, he's not locked in for 5 years.
No, he's not, Scooter.
This,
no, he's not.
In reality, I think this assures he'll be there next year.
At least another year.
Yeah.
And
I think if they get that out, McNeese gets that out of him, it was money well spent.
Let me say this, guys, and I think you guys both agree. Is this not what the Legacy Center was built for?
Yes.
Point
yes,
himself.
and look, a lot of fans will be out there thinking, $700,000 for a basketball coach. This is not football.
This is not your ordinary basketball coach, okay?
Has done. They're filling the Legacy Center.
Come on.
The
PR,
the vibe, the energy around the university athletic department, it's because of basketball.
Have you ever seen a student section at McNeese ever so much engaged in the head coach? Never. I've never.
They're winning.
I've never.
They're winning. All right, Saturday, Corpus Christi. Remember,
it's a good game.
The team they fell 18 in the hole to.
Yeah.
And rallied in the last second.
Corpus Christi.
So they've got tough games coming up. That one will be a great game. That's a bell cow game there. I mean, that's going to say something. And then they still got 2 games with Nichols, 2 games with Houston Christian, and let's not forget a road game at Lamar.
Yeah.
This is a tough league, gentlemen.
It is.
I don't care how much you're paying Will Wade.
I think Wade has upped the ante in this league huge because teams know when you come into the Legacy Center, you better come to play.
You better be ready to play. There's no quit.
Come to play.
There's no quit. He likes the way they're playing.
He does.
Right now. All right, Cowboy baseball coming up next with Justin Hill. Stay right here.
We're the attorneys Southwest Louisiana has known and trusted for decades. We fought relentlessly for our clients and won. We are proud to announce a new name based on our legacy of success. We are Lundy Law. The name may be new, but our team's commitment to pursuing justice for our clients has never been stronger. From personal injury and maritime cases to insurance claims, mass tort, and civil litigation, you can count on the experienced attorneys at Lundy Law.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Welcome back to the Sportsbook at LeBaire SoundOff. We welcome back Justin Hill, Cowboys head baseball coach, continuing our in-depth preseason look at the McNeese Cowboys. You're back in the 4th chair.
Yes.
It's Super Bowl week, by the way, Las Vegas.
It is. Woo.
Yeah.
Got a pick?
Yeah.
Chiefs.
I mean,
there we go.
That's how it
Ka-ching.
is.
Wow.
I guess she'll be in Vegas.
Coach, no, she's going to be in
flying
Japan.
in from Japan.
Yeah.
She's flying in from Japan, and that's what a
Good
10-hour
pick,
difference.
though, by the way.
What's that?
Good pick.
You're the brain guy on the show. You should know this when I actually
And
did.
she won, what, I don't know, a ton of Grammys
She
this
did,
past
she
week.
did,
So,
she did.
anyway,
But
so
that's-
he's going with Taylor Swift. Who you going with? You want to get the conversation started on some real baseball stuff?
We're going to do that later, but I tell you what, she has brought more viewers than the commissioner even said it. Now, that's when you know
We've
this is
got
serious.
Justin Hill on
I know that, but Coach talked about it himself. But when the commissioner talks about viewership and her name comes up, we'll go back to Coach Hill. Thank you.
Yeah.
You have the floor. Shut him up. You have the floor.
How much did you learn? I thought that was a great Sunday afternoon back in November when you had the defending national champion LSU team here. It was just it was beautiful weather. Everybody had a blast. Talking about you filled the stadium up.
Yeah.
It was like a 74-inning game.
Yeah.
And
Exhibition.
what is a coach? I know the fans enjoyed it. As a coach, what did you take from it?
Well, the first thing I was curious on is how did we handle the moment?
Yeah.
Because because we all know what we can do is depending on what the external circumstances are, things you don't normally see.
Yeah.
Does that come out? And I saw it. It came out. So we saw what we can do. And so that's really encouraging, and because we're going to be in some really tough environments this year as well, in addition to all the conference play we have. So we saw what we can do, and now it's a matter of can we get it out? Can we keep getting it out? And so, and then I'll tell you the other part that people miss after everybody had gone in those 16th, 17th, and 18th innings that we played.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of guys over there that I would say that they're the top of the food chain from a player, baseball standpoint.
Yeah.
But in those innings, there were just a bunch of guys playing baseball. And it didn't matter who was there. We were just all playing ball, and it was like a backyard thing. And so it was different because there wasn't video, wasn't any of those things.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so it was a great moment just as a baseball guy for sure.
Yeah.
But Coach, you brought up a good point when you said, you wanted to see what my team would be like in those moments. And I think, and I credit any coach for putting their kids in a position like that with some of the top players in the country just to see how they respond. And I mean, as a coach, that gives you a needle and a measuring as to what your team can do. And I know you had to have felt good about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I felt good about it. I mean, it was a great way to end the fall, but then you've got 8 weeks before you see him again. So you get a little nervous, and we'll get a dose of reality coming back here, and when we go to College Station, and it'll be a little different. And so, again, how do we handle the moment, and does our stuff show up? And so I'm excited to go see. It's not quite time to go play somebody else, but we're getting really close. Yeah.
Hey, I know we're in the midst of basketball, and the Super Bowl, but baseball, college baseball is coming up, and I know this man to my left loves it indeed, and you, of course, Coach. Before we get into the season and the Southland, help me, please, with this convolution algorithm of right-handed pitchers, left-handed pitchers. How many you want? I mean, you got a slew of right-handers, right? Yeah. And a little tickle of southpaws. Where does it fall for this pitching staff?
Southpaw.
Lefties, whatever.
Yeah,
that's my old boxing thing.
I mean, last year I think we only had one or two left-handed pitchers. One that actually pitched. We've got 3 back on the roster this year. When they expanded the roster from 35 to 40. Those left-handed pitchers got gobbled up by everybody across the country, and so you want a left-handed pitcher, but you also want a guy that you believe can come get outs for you, and so it doesn't always work out. It's like we're not exactly shopping at Walmart when you're doing that. So you gotta sometimes sometimes things are empty sometimes.
So what you're saying is like in football that you can't find a good D lineman or offensive lineman. Left-handed pitchers are hard to come by?
They for sure. I mean, almost every championship program you got in some way, shape, or form has left-handed pitching. And look, it's just one of those, we look for them, but sometimes they're just not there. And everybody's looking for it. It's like a great shortstop, right in the middle of the order. I mean, all those things you obviously try to get, but hey, sometimes you strike out. Yeah.
I think baseball more than any other sport. I know you have an idea of what your everyday roster and maybe even your weekend rotation is. But baseball, college baseball in particular, more than the other sports, is a work in progress. And time you start the conference tournament, it may look nothing like the opening day roster, just because it's such a game of streaks. How do you go into the season knowing that you may be making changes along the way?
Well, I mean, the first thing is you try to educate your players on that. So obviously for me, I try to tell them, hey, the target's not February the 16th. That's not the target. I have
Which
a little
is
bit
Texas
further,
A&M.
Right, against those guys on opening day. I mean, I think everybody circles that day. I mean, I'm looking for the first conference weekend. That's the week. That's going to start the Thursday before Easter. That's where I'm looking at. That's where I want to have a better idea of how do we deploy our pitchers? What matchups do we have? If that's the case, then I've got 6 weeks to try to figure out what our team is, and especially with a lot of new players. The deal is like I know who they are, I know who's going to pitch. I just don't know when they're going to pitch or which situation. So, but we got to find those kind of things out with the scoreboard on a little bit.
Coach, I know in years past when we've talked with you and had you on the show, you've mentioned that you've had people on the mound that could determine a game for you. They were that good. Do you think that's going to be something that you're going to have in your bag coming up in these?
I think we can. We haven't necessarily shown it from a every inning standpoint, but I think a guy can have some great moments. We got a lot of guys can have some great moments, And you know, it's just a matter of again, it's guys who haven't done it. They can do it.
Yeah.
They haven't had that responsibility of pitching on a Friday. They haven't had the responsibility of shutting the game down. But you know what? It's like I told them. I said, somebody gave me my first chance to be a head coach. Somebody gave me my first chance to do that. So you can do it. Just because you haven't done it, you got to have that opportunity. So I believe in them.
Yeah.
We're just working on them believing in themselves right now.
Yeah. Justin Hill, baseball coach for the McNeese State Cowboys, is with us. Preseason look. The regular season, the non-conference. Texas A&M, UL Lafayette, LSU. Home games galore. That whole thing. To conference. Rack and stack the Southland this year.
Yeah.
You guys got to be in the upper tier. Where does the strength lie in the SLC?
Well, I mean, you really the defending champions with Nichols. I mean, they've got a lot of players coming back. They got a big arm on Friday night. It's going to be a preseason All-American. I mean, he's going to be tough. I mean, we got them, I think, the last weekend in Thibodeau. That's always a tough place to play. But hey, a lot of things can happen in those 24 games, and it's such a 24 games a lot different than playing 30. And so it's I don't know, it's an interesting dynamic when you do that. So I mean, obviously they did. I mean, then Lamar's got guys coming back, and Incarnate Word's got guys coming back. There was a little shakeup with Coach Barbier going from Northwestern to Southeastern. But obviously a great coach and great program resources and all the things that you want. So it's going to be a challenge. I mean, it's going to be 8 weeks of scrapping a little bit.
We appreciate you coming
Appreciate
in.
it.
Always,
Justin
Coach.
Hill, who has won 30 or more games. 8 out of 10 years.
I know it.
8 out of 10. We're
Coach
out of
is the
time
man.
again. We'll see you next time right here at SoundOff.
If it's a story worth telling, it starts with Getaways specializing in me time. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Escapes to soak the day away. And rounds on a course designed by Tom Fazio. Start a story all your own at Le Berge Lake Charles.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.